I was born in Alexandria, Virginia, but when I turned 1 year old, my family and I moved to Fremont, California, where I have been ever since. Fremont is a suburban city in the East Bay area about 15 minutes north of San Jose and an hour south of San Francisco. Growing up, I knew that I was an American-born Pakistani Muslim, but I always felt pressure on myself on which one I identified most with. Today, my Pakistani heritage, religious background, and diverse Californian community all shaped me to become the person I am today. Hi, my name is Natasha Mahmood, and this is my California Religious Pluralism video. I think as I grew up, religion put a bad taste in my mouth. In my community of Fremont, there are a lot of Muslims and a lot of families that are far more conservative than my family is. I felt almost a judgment that I was not religious enough because of what I would wear or who I would talk to or how much I did not pray. It felt like people were saying things or teasing you about being too American. But I mean, of course I was American. This is where I was born and raised. Both my parents are immigrants to the United States, yet their lives differed a lot. My dad came to Virginia when he was 10 years old, so he was essentially raised in the States. But my mother, on the other hand, was raised in Pakistan and came to America at the age of 26, so she still instills the Pakistani culture on my siblings and I. For example, even though Eid, the celebration after the month of fasting, Ramadan, is over, is a religious holiday, my family, primarily my mother, tries to make Eid feel like it is in Pakistan as much as possible. Over there, all their neighbors were Muslim, so during this day all the shops were closed and everyone went from house to house, from their neighbors to their friends, and shared a meal and just talked and hung out. Although not all my neighbors celebrate Eid, we still get dressed in Pakistani traditional clothing and get together with our Muslim friends and family and go from house to house from morning till night, greeting people by saying Eid Mubarak.
I grew up in Pakistan, and over there Islam was everywhere around us, so we studied that in school and we studied that in college. We followed what we were told. Quranic studies was part of our curriculum, so we studied Quran, we studied prayers. In Ramzan time everybody was fasting. You could see no one who was not doing it. All the restaurants was shut. It was easier to follow there because everybody was doing the same thing. We covered ourselves more than we see people cover themselves here. We had a dress code in school and colleges. It was just easier to follow since everybody was doing the same thing. All our festivals were a big deal over there. We had days off. We had, for our Friday prayers, offices were shut down because everybody would go for Friday prayers. It was basically easier to follow over there since that was the thing that everybody was doing.
I came here at the age of 10, moved from Pakistan. When I was over there, did not practice my religion or my faith very devoutly, nor did anybody in our family. At the age of 18, I actually wanted to discover my religion further. So I went back to Pakistan to learn from my grandfather, who taught me, and then I started saying my prayers, my 5 daily prayers. And when I came back to the States, back to Virginia, it seemed I was more at peace as to what I wanted to do and wanted to learn about my religion. You can almost say, discovering God, if you will. But when I came out to California, I saw the diversity was even greater here. People practicing different religions, and I wanted to yet continue to further practice my own.
I think in California there's a lot of diversity. There are not only Muslims from Pakistan, but there are Muslims from India, from Arab countries, from different countries who practice a little differently, and then you seem to see how they are, in what light they are thinking of the religion, and then you question that, what we were taught and what they were taught why is it different, and you read more and you research more. You talk to more people about different religions because all your close friends are practicing different things. yet they are the same things. I mean, the basic is the same things. In work environment, you meet people from different cultures and different religions, and you realize it's the same thing, that everybody's being taught. Just the festivals are different, the way they pray to God is different, but they're asking for the same thing. That's why you question more and you read more and you recognize the importance of religion. And you follow it, you try and follow it in the way that you feel is right, than to just blindly follow the way you were taught in your own country.
I went to Sunday school as a child, but left after a couple years into it. I did read the Quran in Arabic when I was about 10 years old as well. I knew the basics and the main purposes of Islam along with the main teachings. However, religion was not as big of a part of my daily life growing up. I prayed once a day with my dad at sunset because that's the time we all knew we would be together, usually before or after dinner. I did not realize that religion was not a big part of my family. Then until one summer at the summer of 7th grade when I went to visit my dad's sister in Maryland by myself. There I conformed to their more religious lifestyle where they did pray 5 times a day and talked about the Quran more than it was ever brought up in my house. There I also dressed more conservatively out of respect to make them feel more comfortable as well. While growing up, I went to elementary schools where we had class parties that room parents would put on, where we learned about Diwali or Chinese New Year, along with Eid or Hanukkah. We learned about the different cultures and got to appreciate their traditional stories and food it had to offer. Living in California, and specifically the Bay Area, is definitely a blessing. I live in the cultural melting pot where I had classmates of every ethnicity or religion or orientation. My community was the most accepting and open to views, and growing up in this environment is why I think California diversity is beautiful. I lived in a community where everyone felt accepted and celebrated our diversity and differences to learn from them and appreciate what each culture had to offer. As I grew up now, I realized that I did try to distance myself with the Islamic community because I was scared of judgment that I might face of not being good enough because I was American. Wearing shorts or a tank top, for example, are things that my family did not have a problem with, but the Muslim community seemed like it did. It was not until I was driving to Slow Days orientation with my dad, who recently has become increasingly religious and finds peace in Islam. I started to see religion as a relationship with God rather than seeing religion as a way for people to judge me and make me feel lesser. So yes, I am Natasha Mahmood. I am proud Pakistani American Muslim. I instill values and traditions from my Pakistani heritage. I have the laid-back attitude of being a California resident who is immersed with different cultures from all over the world. And I do not have to choose which one I have ties with the most, because I have found a happy medium of both of these things. Because being both from Pakistan and from California have an effect on my religious beliefs and the lifestyle that I live today.